How are you? My name's Jeffrey Carlovich from the Whisky Guild. I'm here, keeper of the Quake, master of Scotch whiskey, and master of none. I'm here with Murphy from Cedar Ridge Distillery, and I am so excited that you're here. Normally we talk about some craft distilleries. I don't get too excited, but this is an exception. These are all exceptional products, and I'm so happy that Murphy's here with me. Murphy, tell me a little bit about Cedar Ridge, and then tell me about each of your SKUs going through.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor to be here. So Cedar Ridge, it's a family-owned distillery. My parents started it about 10 years ago. Our 10-year anniversary is coming.
So it's nothing new. So you've been laying down stock for quite a while.
That's correct. Yeah, we've got to the point where we've got a decent supply built up, a nice little inventory, especially for a small privately owned distillery. And so yeah, like I said, this is our 10th year in business. We are a winery distillery combination. So we make a number of products, including even vodka, gin, brandies, and rum. You know, we make a whole bunch of stuff. But today we're just highlighting our whiskey portfolio, and most notably here our flagship product, which is our Iowa bourbon. This is the first dark spirit that we were working on. The first one,
which is one of my favorite in the line. I mean, to make a good bourbon, I mean, there's a lot of bourbon that's out there, but this is really nice. It's subtle, gentle, but great complexity. It's really nice.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and we're very proud of it as well. And the mash bill on it is 75% corn, 12.5 rye, 12.5 barley. And being from the corn state of Iowa, where the cornfields surrounding you no matter where you're at, it's very important for us to make a quality bourbon.
So they can get this. This is available in the stores now, right?
That's correct. Yes. And in the New Jersey, New York area, we've got the Iowa bourbon as well as our single malt available currently.
Okay, so these two you got here.
Yeah, that's correct. And
okay.
Then the malted rye and the wheat whiskey will be available in October.
Well, they're available right now in my bar.
Yeah. Only here. Yeah.
And no, I'm not giving you the address, my friend.
I wouldn't either.
So tell me a little bit about the malted rye, because malted rye is a little bit different. Having a malted rye. So talk a little about why you guys came out with that, and a little bit about it.
Absolutely. And so the reason why we decided to go with the malted rye is because it's far less common. You see a lot of ryes out there right now. They're very popular. They're red hot. And while we wanted to be a part of that, we wanted to do something slightly
a little bit different.
Yeah. And so we saw an opportunity to go with malted, and we went down that path, and we are very satisfied with the final result. It ended up putting out a pretty unique product, and one that we couldn't be more thrilled about.
So this is available in October again, you said, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. And what's the production?
It kind of varies product by product. Since we started making the bourbon first, we have a lot more than that than anything else. Right now we're doing, let's see, just off the top of my head, it would be about 7,000 cases a year of bourbon. So a small operation. That's by far the most of any product that we make. The rest of these, I mean, we're talking less than 2,000 cases a year of any of them.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Fantastic. So let's talk about a little bit about your wheat whiskey, which I'm actually a huge fan of. If you ever get a chance, I'm not a huge fan of the entire line, but if you get a chance to pick up this bottle, I would definitely suggest doing so.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about it, because it's quite unique. It's very light and very gentle. I say that a lot about your line. I don't mean that in disrespect. It's just really well put together. And one of the things I like about a good brown spirit is it being balanced and having a lot of flavor, but not the wood overpowering, the spirit. And a lot of times in small craft distilleries, that tends to happen. This doesn't. So, I mean, you're all traditional. So you're using big barrels. You're not trying to cut any corners. You're saying this is what we are, this is what we do right.
Absolutely. And to kind of touch on what you first mentioned there, something that we kind of consider our trademark is making slightly softer whiskeys, a little bit more approachable, less overpowering. Not to say that there's anything wrong with a whiskey being overpowering or packing a punch. That's just kind of the trademark that we've developed and grown to appreciate. So
yeah, but what I think I like about it, the nose is there, the body's there, and the finish is there. So it's a really well balanced. All of them are just well crafted. So if there's one word I can say, it's just really well crafted spirits. Really nice stuff. So let's go to one of my absolute favorites, your single malt, which is Everyone should have this. If you're a Scotch lover, if you're a Japanese lover, and I said this earlier, it reminds me more of a Japanese single malt than anything else. It's really exquisitely done. One of the things too that strikes me too is when I think of American single malt, you know, normally the wood dominates the barley. This doesn't happen here. So it's really like a beautiful maturation with the spirit, the barley, and the wood. So talk to me a little bit about the single malt.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
That's what I'm drinking right now, by the way.
Our single malt, we have a pretty unique production process for it. When we started out making single malt, which was about 7 years ago at this point, 6-7 years ago, we were doing every cask in some sort of unique form. So when I say that, I mean we would use a unique finishing cask for a lot of them, whether it be like a pear brandy finishing cask, a red wine, white wine. As I mentioned, we're also a winery, so we have a surplus of these unique barrels. So we use a lot of unique finishing casks as well as some unique malts such as peated malt, biscuit malt. So we had a lot of different things going on with our single malt, and since it was a single barrel every time that we were releasing, it became kind of difficult for retailers to explain to their customers, you know, because it's because of the inconsistency. But so we realized that we needed to kind of correct that problem, but it was very important to us to maintain the amount of the effort and
the passion you went to get to that point.
Exactly. You know, we were very proud of the product we had created, and without losing that, we needed to accomplish or achieve, I guess, a more consistent product. So the way that we did that was we took a bunch of these single barrels that we had and we laid them in glasses much like this, laid them out across the counter, and we were marrying them together, trying them at different proofs.
Well, I think the next time you should do that, you should do it right here.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like a perfect place to do something like that. So you know, we had an awesome taste testing, and we eventually came up with a recipe of single barrels that we will marry together inside of 2 different 1,000-gallon wooden Solera tanks. So we have a Solera finishing method that we use for our single malt, which has helped us achieve that consistent profile without compromising any sort of quality or effort in the production process.
Well, Murphy, thank you so much for coming out here. And if you guys would like to try all these products, I do encourage you to go out your store and try to find them. They're distributed locally in New Jersey and New York area by O-Pee-Chee Wines. And if anybody is in the New York region and like to go to the Whiskey Cruise, they'll be featured on the Whiskey Cruise August 27th of 2015 this year. I will be on there, you know, with a glass in my hand and with a smile on my face. But Murphy, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Cheers to some great whiskey.
Thanks so much for having me.